Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Avoid your problems or kick ass. Or report the beatings to the cops. What am I saying? This was the 80s. The Karate Kid. This is the 1984 classic that made everyone think that if they took karate, they could kick ass. I mean, it's not impossible, but you gotta stick with it. Believe in yourself! The plot. Daniel LaRusso is a fish out of water. He's moved from New Jersey to California with his mother and is already feeling welcome. He's invited to a beach party and even sees a girl that interests him. However, a problem comes in the form of a gang of motorcyclists and their leader, Johnny. Now, Daniel wants to take karate to prove he can stand up for himself. After a failed attempt at joining a dojo, Daniel happens upon an old Japanese maintenance man who happens to be amazing at karate and helps Daniel to not only discover the art of martial arts, but using one's mind, body, and soul for the right reasons. What blows my mind about this movie is that director John G. Avildsen also directed Rocky from 1976. How it took me to the time of writing this review to find that out baffles me. Avildsen does a commendable job at directing The Karate Kid. It's lit well with warm colors and saturated locations. The framing, especially the last part of the final battle, is all crafted perfectly, and the cinematography overall is gorgeous. Editing duties were given to Avildsen as well as Walt Mulcornery and Bud S. Smith. I feel the editing was split into 3 different styles that ended up working wonders for the film. Both McCullough and Smith worked on Flashdance, and I'm assuming that's where the tight pacing comes in. I haven't seen Flashdance, only clips, but I can tell by the energy in this film that that is a safe bet. I would also say that Bud Smith's work on The Exorcist helped to not shy away from the violence and brutality of these attacks and fights. But he only shot the Iraq scenes in the movie, so those canines were really going at it in that opening scene. Speaking of that brutality, that's one thing I've got to give to 80s movies. The bullying was always more real and raw. You may think, if you were born in the 90s like me, that the 80s were just non-stop cool and retro stuff. But, from what I've heard, that is true, but kids got away with tons of bullying. So all you sensitive people with a deep-rooted mental connection with that decade that you weren't even a part of, you might want to do a little bit of history first, because you wouldn't survive a month in an 80s high school. Tangent over, let's get back to the review. For the characters, we have the as before mentioned Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio from My Cousin Vinny. He was around 22 at the time of filming this flick. But he's a high school student with tons of troubles beyond attendance. Seriously, he's out of school for long periods of time with his karate instructor. School rarely plays a part in this, except for when he goes there to confront his bullies or tease them when they can't touch him, because the fight won't happen if they do, or to the prom. They train deep into the night is what I'm trying to say. There's no way he went to school. I'm surprised he didn't get reprimanded for that. Anyway, he's a good guy, but has that Jersey short temper.
Daniel, you don't have to run away.
I'm not running away from anything.
Hey, look, we've got to deal with this.
You deal with things your way, I'll deal with mine, okay? I'll see. I gotta go.
Daniel,
Get off my case!
He wants to figure things out on his own, and will do anything to achieve his goals. Miyagi, played by Pat Morita from King Cobra 1999, is the mentor with patience for when it counts. When he trains Daniel, he does get a bit testy after a while, but he does see the potential in his apprentice.
What do you think, Mr. Miyagi, huh?
I tell you what the Miyagi think. I Think you dance around too much.
He wants what's best for the kid, Karate Kid, and will teach him all that he knows. And it'd be a crying shame and a crime against the film if I didn't talk about the scene where he's drunk. Because he goes into a monologue about how when he was in the war, his wife died with their son at childbirth. Because Miyagi relives the memory of when he got the news that his wife and unborn child were dead. It's heartbreaking and shows how Pat is a wonderful actor who could go beyond the call of comedy, which is actually what he's known for. It's no wonder he was nominated for an Oscar. Allie, played by Elizabeth Shue from Hollow Man and Piranha 2010, is the supportive and caring love interest for Daniel. She is the upper-class character who isn't pompous or full of herself. She wants to be with Daniel despite his lower-class position, because she likes him.
Definitely.
Johnny, played by William Zabka from Python 1 and 2, is also short-tempered and much more aggressive than Daniel. He wants to be with Allie, but goes about it the wrong way every time.
I said, give me my radio.
You promise you'll talk to me?
Yes, just give me my radio. Yes.
He's cruel, but can kind of be seen as the hero for this movie. It's a bit of a stretch, but can be seen as Daniel being the intruder, swooping in on his ex-girlfriend. Although people seem to forget that X part. Kreese, played by Martin Kove from Glass Trap and VFW, is Johnny's and a bunch of others' sensei. Over at his dojo where he teaches Cobra Kai, he is ruthless and unmerciful in his approach, and wants his students to be the same way. I like how near the end, some of his students start to see that, and how what he is doing is terribly wrong. Like, his requests are insane. So they kind of are like, what?
I want him out of commission.
But Sensei, I can beat this guy.
I don't want him beat.
But I'll be disqualified.
Out of commission.
Lucille LaRusso, played by Rande Heller, is a good mother who wants what's best for her child, but won't baby him too much. Sure, when he's beaten up, she shows concern, but she knows he has to do whatever it takes to prove that he can stand up for himself. And she even accompanies Miyagi and Ali to the tournament to watch her son fight. That wouldn't be easy for a mother, but she is supportive nevertheless. The rest of the minor characters, like Ali's friends and other Cobra Kai students, are memorable enough. Ali's friends help Daniel see that he's being too much of a jerk to Ali, when he suspects something is still up between her and Johnny. However, that's kind of like edited weird. Like, it comes out of nowhere. Like, he looks upset because he saw them dancing, and then she's mad at him? The Cobra Kai students are savage. And opt for the others to stop mid-beating. For the violence, the effects. Since this movie isn't a horror flick, I figured I'd change it up a bit. The violence in the movie is harsh when the beatings ensue. You feel Daniel's struggle and want him to rise to the occasion. He does so, but does get his ass kicked several times over.
How about you, hero? You have enough?
Okay, now we're even.
No worries.
We get some minor blood, bruises are shown, and punches are thrown. There are really no effects, just blemish work. That's about it for effects in the violence department. And the blood is a bit bright, not paint-like, but enough to seem kind of unrealistic. The motion picture soundtrack. Bill Conti was brought over with Avildsen from Rocky to help work on The Karate Kid. He breathes a lot of life into this movie with his fitting flute work, downbeat sounds, and uplifting, motivating segments. It is definitely an 80s score and doesn't shy away from its 80s style. Instead of running away from that, it embraces it. It's a wonderful score all around, and even has a song by Bananarama. Cruel Summer. Overall, while it is nothing groundbreaking, the story has been done before, it's still fun to watch. It's a good movie to show your kids if they're having trouble with bullying in school. Just tell them you have to actually learn how to fight to defend yourself. The message isn't necessarily to physically fight back. It shows you how to have a tougher skin, and not to get so dependent on others. Daniel was never dependent on his girlfriend, not even his mother, when he got his ass kicked. He had to figure things out for himself for a while.
Just, I'll help you.
No, just leave me alone. I'm okay.
Oh my God. How did that happen?
Miyagi was Daniel's light in a dark tunnel. The film has warmth not only in the color palette and style, but in its story and other charming aspects. If you haven't seen The Karate Kid from 1984, I'd say check it out. Even if you're not into kiddie action films, it's actually got a lot of great lessons to be learned.
Miyagi hate the fighting.
Yeah, but you like karate.
So?
So karate's fighting. You train to fight.
That's what you think.
No.
Then why train?
So I won't have to fight.
It ends rather abruptly, which it does pick up in the sequel, but it is a staple of the 80s environment. Kids back then didn't always go running to the guidance counselor because they didn't want to. Not even the teacher, the principal, or even their parents. Unlike now, if a student gets a low grade, it's the teacher's fault. Grow a pair and watch The Karate Kid from 1984.
You want me to drive?
Hey, it's the 80s.
Overall, I give The Karate Kid from 1984 a 3 out of 5. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always, subscribe!